All right, this is episode 2 of Adam's Opinions. Um, really enjoyed doing that first one. Um, I've never put out content like that before, so it was definitely a leap of faith, but it was definitely enjoyable. Had a good time. So here's number 2. I'm going to be talking about men today. If there's any ladies, any females that watch this, obviously you're not a man, so you probably won't get all the things that I'm talking about. But I definitely think that you can still, if you're in a relationship, you may be able to learn something about your man that could help with your relationship a little bit. Maybe not. So we'll see what happens. The thing that I wanted to start with is that men in today's America, today's society, and it's been this way for quite some time, men are seen as the protector. Men are, and this is a broad general overview. This isn't, well, my man isn't the leader of the household. I got you. That's not, I'm talking about in general, this is pretty much how things work. Men are seen as the leader of the household. They are the protector, the provider. They are the rock for the wife, for the family. They are the ones that bear the brunt of most things that go on within the family. Kid messes up, mom says, "You just wait till your father gets home." Everybody's heard that before. So things like that. Men are seen these ways. So men are expected to be strong, to have a thick outer skin, to be able to have good control of their emotions, to be able to have the fortitude to be the provider and the protector and all those things that I mentioned. That's what men have been seen as throughout history. That's our job. That's what we do. Genetically, we're stronger. That's how it works, and there's nothing wrong with that. The issue is when you build men and you build up a cultural and societal norm of having men be this way, it puts other aspects of personality second or to the wayside. For instance, sensitivity. If a man is expected to have a tough exterior and to handle things that come his way and take it like a man, it's harder for men to have that sensitivity because they've spent so many years building up that toughness, hardening their exterior, their facial expressions, how they react to things that are told to them, that sort of thing. And also on the inside as well, you get a hardened heart. You don't feel the same way about things that women or other people may feel. So, for instance, if an animal is hurt on the side of the road and a couple is driving down the road, more times than not, it's going to be, excuse me, it's going to be the girlfriend or the wife that says, "Oh my goodness, we need to pull over and help it." That's kind of how it goes. So back to what I was saying, the issue is that it's more difficult for men to have that sensitivity within them. A lot of times, if a man tries to let out what's wrong, whether it be to his buddies or to a partner or whoever, it's, take it like a man. Why are you crying? Grow up, that sort of thing. And I think it's a lot to expect because you got to remember that we're people too. So if a man gets up early in the morning, and does his morning routine, brushes his teeth, combs his hair, maybe grabs a little breakfast on the way out. Maybe maybe his wife complained about something whenever he got up. Maybe the kids are running late, getting ready for school. He's got that kind of going on. Then on his way to his commute, somebody pulls out in front of him and cuts him off and flips him off, even though he wasn't doing anything wrong. He gets to work. Second he sits down in his chair, his boss yells at him. The coworker he doesn't like tries to talk to him for 30 minutes. He gets a lunch break. He's eating some brown paper bag lunch that's leftovers from the night before that aren't really good reheated, or maybe he goes and sits by himself at the McDonald's and eats some McDonald's. Then he goes back to work and he works the rest of the day, gets off of work, has to fight with the rush hour traffic, finally gets home. The house didn't really get cleaned up that day. The kids are running crazy, It builds, it builds, it builds, it builds, it builds. But in a healthy functioning relationship, you would assume and hope that the wife or the girlfriend or whoever can be there for him, that he can talk about what's on his mind, that he can get things off his chest, that he can complain about his day, or get some sympathy, some empathy, because you can't bottle that up forever. But more times than not, the man's expected to. Well, you're doing what you got to do. You're working your job to support. That's what you got to do. Quit complaining. It's how it works. Your wife has stuff going on that she has to do. And that's valid. You got to do what you got to do. But there also needs to be some sort of support for those people, for those men, because a man that may not have a whole lot of stress and hardships day to day that others may have, he may be okay if he just bottles it up and handles it by shooting guns or going fishing or screaming in his car on the way to work or listening to music or reading books or putting sailboats inside of glass bottles. I mean, that's a lot of times what a hobby is. It's to take your mind off of what is causing you unhappiness in your life. Also via it makes you happy. And that's what hobbies are for, to make you happy, but to also, take your mind out of what's going on and place it somewhere else. But if a man doesn't have a good hobby, or he doesn't have a listening person to talk to, if he doesn't have a support group, if he doesn't have other men or other dads to be with and to talk to and drink a beer and talk about what's going on and, oh my gosh, little Timmy did this, without being judged or silenced because you're a man, suck it up, I feel like that's something really important, and I feel like mental health for men, it's not as big in the spotlight as it should be. Men are expected to handle what comes their way and get through it. They're supposed to take it like a man. And on one hand, yes. If men 80 years ago, a little under 80 years, if they could storm the beaches at Normandy and go through that, I can get through having my coffee from Starbucks messed up. Stuff like that. I get that. You can't be a wimp. Grow up, be an adult, be a man, do what you got to do, handle your crap. But at the same time, it's completely unfair to expect men to take it like men 100% of the time. It's not fair that there is a clear bias isn't really the right word, but it's obvious. If you're a guy, if you're a man, you know what I'm talking about. Rub some dirt on it, shake it off, grow up, be a man. You hear those things. If you are in a toxic relationship, you can't express your opinions without it being turned against you, which will lead to resentment. It makes it puts strain on the relationship, it makes you feel worse about yourself, that's within a relationship. If you try to talk to it with your guy friends and they deride you for it, grow up, bro, be a man, that sort of thing. I don't feel like those are the types of people that you should have in your life. You always need to have people that will listen to you vent if you need to vent. Now, some people aren't strong enough for that. Some people aren't strong enough to have someone vent to them all the time, or once a day, or once every couple of days. They don't have the mental fortitude and the toughness to be able to deal with that, because it stresses them out and then they struggle in return. And that's not fair to those people. But you need people within your life that you can talk to, that you can be honest with. And that's the whole theory behind a therapist, right? If you're struggling, you go talk to a therapist, because you're paying them to sit there and listen to your problems. And then if they're a good therapist, they'll let you talk about your problems and guide you, kind of give you a little nudge here, or what do you think that means? Or why do you think you feel that way? Or do you think that there may be another layer that is causing you to feel that way? They'll kind of guide you and nudge you to really understand what's going on. But not everyone can afford a therapist. Not everyone wants to go to a therapist. Not everyone wants to put their heart and their mind on a pedestal for someone that you don't even know to comment on it. And that's why you need people that are close to you, a significant other, guy friends, Xbox friends that don't know you, that you can just vent to. Men need people to talk to. You need to be able to speak your mind and have someone listen and have empathy and sympathy for you. And if you're the type of person that wants to get help, then you need to have people that are willing to help you. One thing that I've struggled with a lot is being too ready to give advice. And I'm listening to a book right now called 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. And one of the great book, by the way. One of the things that he talks about is people giving advice. And I'm going to butcher this, so I'm just going to paraphrase pretty much what he's talking about. When you give people advice, especially if you cut them off to give them advice, you're basically telling them, you're messed up, but I'm not, and I can fix your problems, so you need to rely on me. And I've started realizing that I give way too much advice. I love to hear what people have going on in their lives, and I love to try and fix it. I like to fix things. I like to understand what's going on, and I like to fix it. And that's in general, but it's also a lot for people. I hate seeing people that are hurting. I hate seeing people that have issues that I feel like I know what to do. If I was in your position, I could fix you. I could fix it. I'm that powerful, that strong. But that's wrong. It's not fair for me to try to give people advice unless they ask for it. If someone wants my advice, I'll gladly give my advice. My feelings, my thoughts on that, my opinions. I'll gladly do that. But if you're giving unsolicited advice, I don't think that that's going to help people out. And so with men, if a man wants to be a part of a support group that they can talk about the problems and then they brainstorm on ways to fix that, that's awesome. And I think that that's important, and I think that that's needed. I think it needs to be normalized that men are people too. We have our issues, we have our problems, we have the things on our shoulders, the things on our backs. We're upset that the Preds aren't playing right now from COVID. I got to have somebody to talk to about that. Luckily, I have this new thing called Adam's Opinions, where I can talk about the Predators. If you're a woman and you're listening to this, you're still listening to this 14 and a half minutes in, and you're in a relationship with a man, I beg you to try and be just an observer in that. Let him talk to you, let him say what's on his mind, let him vent, and just try to be a impartial observer within that. Maybe don't. I mean, the same ways that you want to vent and us not to try to give you solutions. Men love to fix things. We like figuring out what the problem is and fixing it. That's what we want to do. So if you're talking to your man about something that's going on and he keeps trying to fix it and it's irritating you because all you're wanting to do is vent and for your man to shut up, I get it. I get it. We like to fix things. I'm pretty sure that most men can agree with that. If their girl is upset about something, well, cool, let me fix it. And so you won't be upset anymore. We don't have to argue about this, or we don't have to waste time being upset. I can fix it, and then we can go on with our lives. We can do whatever. Listen, let your guy do the same thing. Let him talk about how crappy something is. Let him cry if he needs to. Let him talk about some of the hardships that he feels like he faces. That he feels like he's having to take care of the finances, and if he doesn't go into work one day, that it's going to be all his fault. It's going to, everything's going to come back on him. Let him talk about those things. Maybe suggest, finding a group of guy friends that they can talk to each other about those things. Everybody needs a support system, whether you believe it or not. You can't run your life. You can't run your body and your mind without a support system. Whether it's, I do pretty okay, I just need to be able to vent every once in a while to someone other than my dog or the wall. Or maybe you're not that strong. Maybe you actually need advice. Maybe you need people to help you through things. Everybody gets to that point in their life sometimes, or maybe it's just a specific situation. You need people like that. So yeah, I feel like there's a stigma behind men that men need to be men and be strong and tough through everything and just suck it up. And on one hand, that's true. We do need to be strong. We're genetically predisposed to being stronger in some aspects of life than women, and women are genetically predisposed to be stronger in aspects of life than men. And that's how it works. So we all need to play to our strengths and help boost each other up where we fall short on our weaknesses. And I feel like men, if you're hurting, you need to have someone that you can talk to about that. And if the person that you normally go to talk to about that is negative, is derisive, downplays your problems, you need to find someone new. Because everyone has their problems. My problems are different than a lot of your problems. We're not going to have the same problems, but we're going to have some that are similar, but they're not all going to be the same. So someone that doesn't have the same problems as you, they're not going to fully understand when you try to talk to them about it. Well, why are you complaining? You don't have anything to complain about. I grew up, my family made less than $10,000 a year. You grew up, your family made $80,000. You have nothing to complain about. Well, you may not have the same hardships, you may not have the same things to complain about, but in your view, in your world, those are completely valid problems. Those are completely valid things that are upsetting you. And just because other people don't have, from different lives, because we're all different, just because other people don't have those same problems doesn't mean your problems are any less valid. It just doesn't make any sense. So, guys, it's a good time to be alive in this world, but it's also a tough time. And it's always going to be that way. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. Nothing is ever going to be completely fixed. Things are never going to be perfect for everyone. But if you've made it all the way through this, I really, really appreciate it. And I really, really hope that if you have anything going on in your life right now, that you can find people that you can talk to about it. If you're got a lot of emotion and stuff built up in you, you can feel the tension in your neck, in your muscles. Sometimes, if you need to go out to your car, just tell everybody that you're around, hey, I need a minute. Go out to your car, smash the steering wheel a few times, just scream, just let it out, just get a good cry in. Sometimes it helps. You're letting out all that pent up emotion and frustration and anger. And there's nothing wrong with that, as long as you're not taking that out on other people. That's obviously what you don't want to do. But whatever you're going through right now, if you're going through anything right now, I really hope you get it figured out. I hope that you have someone that you can talk to about it. Whether I know you or not, if you need someone to vent to, or if you want my advice, which I don't know why you would, but if you need anyone to talk to or vent to or anything, I'm pretty much always available. You can get my phone number. You can make a comment down in the comment section. But take care of yourself, man. Take care of yourself. You don't need to force yourself to squash down all your feelings because you feel like because you're a man you shouldn't have the feelings. People have feelings. We're all human. We all have feelings. It happens. So take care of yourself. Talk to people if you need to talk to people. Go shoot some guns away from other people. Be responsible, obviously, but take care of yourself. Mental health is important, and when your headspace isn't right, when your head's not where it should be, it ruins other things as well, So take care of yourself. Again, really, really appreciate it if you made it all the way through. Even if you only watched, for some reason, the last 15 seconds of this video, and you're seeing me say this, I appreciate that as well. So have a good day. Leave a like if it was any good. Share it. If you know any men in your life that may be struggling with this sort of thing, send it to them. See what they think. Let me know. So yeah, have a great day.